mean, we'll have what people want. The people that aren't going to want to watch it for an hour are going to want the meta heroes. That's going to take a few minutes at the top. Here they are. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
Or we could just mix it all up and make it all nice.
Screw with them.
Screw with them for a bit, so we can put together this tier list. The way that we want to put together this tier list. You know.
That's true.
All right. So I'm just gonna pick one. Okay. Okay. Let's see here.
They have released the dog. I'm Lil Rick the Gamerdude, 100% gamer, bro. No one else working hard, I would do it for the damage. Can't contain my flow. I need to play a game for sure. Maybe RTS or RPG or maybe even MMO.
Howdy, and welcome back to another video for Lord of Heroes. Now I need you to hit those like and subscribe buttons as we be posting that content. If you guys don't know already, I'll be streaming live on Twitch. It'd be kind of randomly, but come by, shoot the shit, say what's up sometimes or something. It usually be like random games or what else that be happening. This was the game that I was streaming this game when we did the tier list and all of that. So, I mean, I don't care if you come by for a few minutes just to say hi and dip out and go about your day. Just come by and just see what's going on, see how I'm doing. That's all I ask. So, today, we're going to be doing a tier list because we got the global release right around the corner coming soon. So, we're going to do a tier list. Now, anybody that knows anything about me, I hate tier lists. I think they're garbage. They're all opinion based unless they are put out by the developers themselves, and you take it with a grain of salt, just like you're going to take this tier list that me and my buddy Lucid Forge, that's in Discord, which you should be a part of that Discord, link to that in the description box below, as well as the pinned comment below. We pretty much gauging this on early game, since all of you that will be starting on global will be playing through the early game. So, and then there's a lot of other factors go in on purchasable heroes and the heroes that you can acquire by free to play purchase, but can also spend to purchase and stuff. And it varies. Certain things take a lot of different stuff to acquire. All of what is on this list is subject to change in its relation to each other. So I just hope you enjoy the video all in its own. It is a pretty long one. Pay attention because we do talk about a lot of important stuff for you to know for your early game, but it's like all over the place. So yeah. All right. So since we do have a tier above S with Arslan, let's just start with Arslan and why he is in a tier in his own.
Well, go back to my Arslan stat.
All right. All right. This is one of the paid characters that cost like $45 to get. So like taking that with like a grain of salt. But he is in a tier of his own just because of his kit is just insanely OP-ness. Like it's ridiculous all that he has. He's the only character in this game that has an AoE turn bar boost with 2-turn attack power for all your allies. Like you just don't get that all in one skill. And even though he's a warrior, which are generally tanky kind of characters that kind of can DPS too, he's on a whole nother level with his DPS, being able with his burst skill, being able to ignore defense, and the multipliers are insane. And my buddy here, Lucid Forge, can
So,
vouch for that.
you got 30% boost on his single hit burst skill to damage. That'll deal frickin'. So you got a 30% boost, 80% chance to reduce the enemy's attack power for 3 turns when it's max. So, for 3 turns on a skill that you can use every turn, the enemy's useless. You got fills all allies' action gauges by 40% for 2 turns and increases attack allies of 2. So all of your team goes next, and then yeah, an ultimate with a 40% damage multiplier. It's a 2 cost, and you're doing no defense. So ignore defense on a 2 cost skill that's a single target, so you're going to be hitting a crazy amount.
Right.
Plus a 25% attack power passive, and a 20% reduction from the vulnerable element for defense on the other passive. So just every stat is dead center balance, and he's all about boosting attacks, so dead center balance gets doubled.
It's like, I mean, you're gonna use them pretty much everywhere in the game, and if you're a person that is gonna spend like pretty much as soon as you start the game, he's gonna be one of the main units that you invest in. Probably the one that you're gonna put your most investment into, just because he's just that strong and in a tier of his own.
I
Bars.
mean, as my support, I guess people aren't going to know a ton of damage, but as my support, he's hitting 70,000 damage with his single target one hit skill. That's a basic skill.
But you know what? That's the best part, because like you don't even have to build him for damage at the start. You can just like build him just to be the support, just fast and tanky, and he'll do a great job with that and still have that little extra bit of damage. So once you do start getting damage gear, then you can just swap him over and he's just gonna plow through everything like no problem. Especially bosses, since his burst skill is single target, and you're gonna just dish out so much damage against bosses and things of that nature.
And it's not like to get to that level you have to go extreme. So I've got all plus 15 6-star gear on him, but 2 of my gears are health percent. I have 2 attack percent, 2 health percent, a crit rate, and a crit hit damage. So it's not like he's overly built for attack either. He's a solid all around hero that just ends up being broken.
Pretty much for the most part. All right. Don't want to spend too much time on him, but hey, you're gonna
This should be the whole hour-long video.
yeah, definitely just how broken he is. Like, all right, we're gonna go for one of the F2P units next. I'm actually
My
trying to find
buddy
Mikal, the dark sniper dude. What you think he falls into?
So
I'm thinking.
probably.
I'm thinking.
I mean, he's good. I'm not thinking bad. I'm trying to think.
I'm
Probably A.
I'm thinking A. Yeah, I'm thinking A myself. And the reason I'm saying A is mostly because of his attribute and how attribute advantage and disadvantage work in this game. It's really bad, because like every time, like once you get to one of the main bosses in each stage of the story, those bosses hurt. They hurt bad. So if you having a DPS that is of an attribute disadvantage, chances are they probably won't survive the fight, because you building them as a DPS. So it's like you're gonna have to focus a lot of heals on them. Granted, you're able to heal them. Um, Granted, you're using 2 healers at that, but we even talk about that in a moment. Um, but beyond that, having that attribute neutrality puts him in a good position. Not exactly S, because there's just other characters that just have even more broken skills and everything.
Right. And like the only reason I don't use him is going back to Arslan. He is, but if I did use him, he also just in all of the elemental dungeons, he really excels. In the gear dungeon, he excels. And if you have him Helga combo, like we saw in the Discord, a lot of people just do really good damage combos with him and Helga. It's 2 AoE alts from 2 very high damage dealers. They just mix well. So if you got the right team combo, he does really excel.
Yeah, definitely. And then like the reduction on his burst. So just giving your team more chances to take turns is just it's just extra. Yeah, especially when you saying going into those dungeons because you're going to see there's always ads on the little elemental, the trial dungeons, and all of that stuff. It's like there's ads on each of those dungeons, and those things have a considerable amount of health. So being able to burst through them quickly with AOE attacks is real good. So he definitely fits that category, and can be a good progression candidate for you. Not just well, I wouldn't say to clear ways, but can be somewhat on progression. I wouldn't say he'd be the number one pick, but definitely number two maybe.
All right, that's kind of why I said right there at A. That's
Yeah.
why I was like so hesitant because it's like he is good. He's not bad.
But that's the problem we face and what we've been talking about for the last like 2.5 hours is the fact that every hero in this game is so good, and the reason why nobody sees a tier list for this game, or we haven't put out a tier list for this game, is you can pretty much use any and everything, and then there's a few highlighted characters that stand out. Other than that, it's like everything else is fair game, and it's all about like what you like. But let's move on to another character. Let's pick another one random. Green Astrid. We were just talking about her too. Green Astrid.
All right. So I like her. She's a cool hero. She's got lots of attack. She increases damage to the element she's weak against, or the element that's weak against her. Sorry, I had that backwards. Um, Removes the most recent buff from an enemy. We talked about that earlier too. That's a nice skill.
But
It's just
removing buffs is
it
not
doesn't
really
come
important.
up as much as is needed.
Yeah, it's not that important. It can be strong against the final boss. She is one of those heroes that you get for free just playing through the story. So it can be useful if you pick up her in player, but I mean her burst is
Same thing. Same thing as Arslan, you build her crit rate. She has that ultimate that ignores defense, so she has a high burst damage when she uses her ultimate. She gets another turn if she kills someone with the first skill. Then that's it. That's all she's got.
do you think she's A tier? Because I'm
I'm
saying
trying to
possibly
think
A tier.
here.
I'm saying A tier because I mean she does ignores target defense on her burst, so that can definitely be real strong. I mean, one of her passes gives her a crap ton of extra attack.
And like I said, I can go A too. She's fine. She's just her issue, which I was saying earlier, is just she falls in such the line of all of these S tier, God tier, whatever you want to call it, heroes
Sure.
are her competition for her spot on the.
Yeah, it's like if you spent it, she's a solid free to play option for that extra damage, just like having Arslan, but even though he just does so much more. But she would definitely not be anywhere close to him.
So it's
Oh,
like if you need the hero like that and you want her right away, she'll be good for a free to play.
yeah,
Because the other one that I said is her role, we'll talk about later, is the contract. So
yeah,
she's free too.
yeah. You know what? That's what I want to talk about next is Silica, who falls in that same role of just being the attribute and also a single target damage dealer. So you rate her? Do you what would you rate her? Is she A tier? Is she S tier? Or was she? Or if she?
So this is one where I'd actually separate. So versus boss, she is definitely S tier because of her second, which leads me into earlier what I was talking about, the 5-time damage healer. She's who I'm basing my stats. But that's later. Needle shot attacks the selected enemy. Damage increases according to the target's health. In the final floor of that dungeon, if you hit her when it's full health, onto the boss, it will half of the damage, half of the health damage, and she'll easily hit 400,000. She's crazy. It's
Oh.
crazy against high HP boss.
So yeah, and that was the one thing I wish I would have went for her rather than Ray for the contract. And your first contract is a 15-day contract, so hopefully that will be the same once global release. But with that 15-day contract, if you don't have something already for single target, she will be a nice option. Well, more likely you will have a single target dealer. It's just she'll be a nice option for adding in later or even replacing something that will be in your team. I mean,
Especially if you're struggling with bosses.
yeah. And I'm not sure, like it's in terms of the first contract characters. Do you say go for her before Chrome?
In the end, I think Chrome's gonna end up being a decent. It really depends. If you can buy our,
Because I
Chrome
mean,
can.
because I mean, even for
The
the early
first two,
game,
right? That's what I'm saying. If you could buy Arslan, Chrom can wait. If can't buy Arslan, Chrom's gonna be your go-to, who you want, because he's gonna be able to help you carry bosses. That making your whole team go before the enemy is such a game that it's hard to
true.
say damage is better than your whole moving.
Your whole team moving. This is a free to play option. A free to play option there, and Chrome itself is like so.
So I mean, that's a hard one.
We
That'd be up to a personal choice, but you might have some more difficulties if you choose her first. At least for the first 30 days.
yeah, because it's like after the first contract, which is 15, then it's a 30-day contract that you have to withhold uphold. I mean, and yeah, Chrome does give you those extra heals, so you could, and it's AOE, so you could like have those heals on top of the turn bar boosting, and then still have your dealers and your normal healer and be
Which I
fine.
guess if we're going into that, we might as well go over what do you think of Crom to take you away.
Uh,
Could probably go
well,
into
if
him next so we
yeah,
can talk about
yeah. That's why I have him up now. Is like if we're going to rate him, because I'm like he's definitely going to be solid, and if we're going to rate him a must pick before her, then he would obviously have to be S tier. But I just move him as
he's
the
so he's such a weird youth to be. He is S and he definitely is. But that's why I said there almost needs to be a different role, a different rank for Arsenal because what he does on exactly what Arsenal,
yeah. It's like
but he is nowhere near the level that Arsenal.
it's like Arslan does everything that everybody else that we have so far on here, all in his one kit.
It's so weird because these are two units that do essentially the exact same thing. Crom is defense based and does all the same skills as Arslan. Arslan is attack based and does all the same type skills. Except Arslan is crazy broken and Crom is just a very good unit.
Okay, so where are we rating healers? Like healers, will you rate a healer before a damage or before like any kind of utility like Chrome? Would you rate them before or after
So,
in terms of their usefulness?
if you're using one healer on your early on, healers are going to be very good. Later on, you're going to go down to one healer, maybe none.
Maybe not,
I'd
yeah.
say probably one at all times, but it's definitely doable with shields to not
Alright, so mostly we'll want this.
early game probably
Yeah,
suited. And your tactic, like you said, an easy way to clear. I'm sorry. easy way to clear the beginning to have that green Charlotte.
It's the two heroes, and that's where I was
Keep it
going. At.
moving.
Yeah, that's where I was going towards. Is like where we will put Green Charlotte, because I'm like pretty much we're probably would cater this mostly to the early game anyway, since people that will be starting the game will be looking to figure out what is the best course of action for the early game, and I would
Early game, you hit that Vanessa. I'd
Green Charlotte.
same with the Charlotte.
Yeah, the Green Charlotte, like the Green Charlotte, I would say S tier, and since she's like one of the first heroes that you have, I would rate her above Chrome personally. What you think? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
No, I'd say that's probably fair.
yeah.
And the issue with it, though, and my with the healer, is as soon as you hit extreme mode, every single
Yeah, healers kind of fall off real bad. Like even the Green Charlotte.
they're not bad by any means, but they're no longer an essential use.
Not at all.
They're
Like
just
and, and Green Charlotte, she faced the problem of her base stats is just not adding up. Cause like yeah, it's like if you're gonna use a healer, you'll use something with more base stats. Because like what makes her so good in the early game is her shield, which is based off of her max health and max health, which is going to help you tremendously on a final boss. The boss is going to have a hard time breaking through that shield, and even if it does, you're not going to take as much damage from your team. And generally, the strategy is to spam it. I got videos for that also, where you just spam it. And her burst, since it's her third burst skill, whatever, it only costs 3 bursts and not 4 like a lot of the most powerful skills in the game, which makes it so easily for you to be able to have it up and use it every single turn that you have it available. Then she does have a single target heal as well, which is based off of her attack, which is kind of like man, whereas you really more focused on having her shield the strongest, and then having characters that reduce attack power on skill 1 is great, especially going up against bosses, killing a skill 1, which also makes Arslan even more powerful because he breaks attack on skill 1.
same thing with his ult. His ult's that 3 cost instead of 4 cost. If you max it, it's a 2 cost. That's why he's broken. But we'll skip over. I hate talking about every character, but
it's like
every freaking role.
That's literally what he does. He just does everything but heal. And if he can heal the team,
Jack of all trade without the negative of Jack of all trades being master of none. He's master of all of Jack of all trades.
All right, the next one that was like super highly recommended, and I definitely recommend as well, was another healer, the Water Vanessa. Definitely S tier, and I will rate her above Charlotte.
Oh yeah, because definitely, if you figure she's probably a little slow to begin, just because of her heals, but once you get her built and things like that, then she's good for not only her revive, but her heals get nice. I mean,
yeah.
As far as my team goes now, and the very end of beating extreme mode, so the hardest we have out right now, she's the only healer.
Yeah, I'm even considering going back and buying her on the main account just so I can get those 3 stars on extreme. Like that revive is clutch.
I have Fire Vanessa, and that's what everyone likes. Is water more.
Yeah, I like the Fire Vanessa. I thought she would have been a little bit better than what she is. She's really strong.
Not only the revive, but the Water Vanessa health regen, it just clutch. It really does. You're consistent healing on top of heals every time.
Exactly. I mean, it is proportionate to her attack, and early on in games like this, you definitely don't want to focus your support tank like characters with a lot of attack. If you can get like one piece of attack gear on them, that's fine, but I wouldn't go crazy into it. her main heal, which is on her arrive, is proportionate to her defense, and of course you're going to need HP to make sure she has enough for survivability, but definitely a lot of defense just so that revive skill. Because like even if you're not reviving anything, the heal itself is still strong, and it's like you. And 3-star stages is really important just because of the rewards you get from 3-star in them. So those boss fights that's going to be really hard, she just comes in clutch there. And generally, what people would do is run the green Charlotte and the blue Vanessa together to make sure you just got strong healing output early on. And the blue Vanessa is one of the heroes that you will buy, and I believe she costs what 6,000. I think it's
And
6.
I'll call you out.
Yes.
I'll call you out on it. It was 6,000.
Yep.
Hated her at first because 6,000 for an early hero was a lot.
Yeah,
But
6,000 gems
it
is a
pays
lot.
off in game.
Yeah, definitely. Like you would start off probably use your gems to get some gear, maybe some gold, and then just stack up until you get that 6K and buy her. She would literally be the first unit that you would want to purchase. Nothing else beyond her. This is what makes her S tier and what makes her so great. And because there's a bunch of characters that you would buy, because basically everything but the ones that you actually spend real money for are free to play. It's just it takes time to get it. Unless you're spending, then you can just buy the gems and just buy her outright. But you definitely want her for sure.
I had 4,000 gems I spent on rolls. Too many. No, I haven't. It's nothing. Randomly getting gems.
Alright, now I want to talk about one of your favorite ones. Water Helga.
Alright, so another freaking random broken.
I like her. I see. I haven't seen the damage that you do. I mean, I really like Sap. Sap is really good because it keeps her alive, and you put like the life steal sets on her or something, and then it's just even better the amount of healing that she can get, which makes her self sufficient.
Mine specifically, and notice I'm an extreme, so it's very rare to see this build because it's your units die fast, but I have no health on her. She has all attack damage. My Water Helga has 4,000.
So, what you would say
and
is
8,000 health, but she can perform extreme and one hit.
Because like when I was using her. Like when I was using her, like I didn't have the gear to put her on full attack, so she was on like a hybrid tank build. She still did a considerable amount of damage, just being like a bruiser, and it was quite useful. I'm just not quite sure where I would rank her at between A and S.
I'd consider it as like now when she really excels and she really starts breaking. And this is true with a lot of the DPS. Mikhail's the same. She does really good with Mikhail. Mikhail and their ult together deals a ton of damage. But if you do end up buying Arsenal, and I know, we're going back to it, it's every hero.
He just like, all right, so I'll say she's A tier, but is she better than Mikhail? Do you think she's better than Mikhail?
I think so. So Mikhail is good because of his elemental advantage, but Helga is better raw damage. And she has the AoE 2 skill as well that Mikhail does. Mikhail's 2 skill is that
it's a single target.
Strike the speed.
The speed scaling. And she has sap on both, making her able to. It's like the only thing I will rate Mikhail on is probably just the stages. The elemental advantage, and just like anytime you going up against any of the earth bosses, like she's just gonna have a problem. and Mikhail is going to excel there. So I personally think she will be a little less than Mikhail.
But what I would say with Arslan though is you get her damage, you get her sap. But what you can do in this game is you can use two people's ults. Arslan low enough ult that as a free to play, well, not play because you Arslan, but if you buy Arslan and only Arslan, you could use Helga and Arslan, and because Arslan skill ignores D, Helga also plus sap plus all of her. But you can do that with Mikhail too.
Right.
So that's an argument for both. And that's normally what I did. That's how I first started getting my damage above.
Just hitting those high numbers. I remember those screenshots you used to send. I was like, man, how are you doing this insane damage?
Boom. Done. Like, okay. Goodbye.
Like, boss is dead by turn 2. And the boss didn't make turn 1.
He didn't show up. The boss just he checked out. And unfortunately, I will say when it gets close to the end game, that's gonna be your team, and you're gonna want to kill the boss as fast as possible because there's just no way in extreme mode to tank as much damage as those bosses are doing. And you could either do invincibility teams that take a while, or you're gonna kill that boss on the first turn.
One of my favorites that I was using on my alternate account is my buddy Johanna, the light warrior. I think personally, I don't think he's quite S, but I think he's probably one of the best A tiers. I personally rate him above Mikhail and Hilda.
So he does have that provoke. That provoke's really nice.
And some bosses can be provoked.
Increases his own attack power. Reduces the enemy attack power on his skills. The downside would be his attack power increase all time. So I mean, it's after the time you want to be boosted. But it is only a 3-cost attack.
Yeah, and it's a really strong skill. It's a really strong skill at that, and the fact that he has that AOE attack power reduction though, it's like,
oh yeah, no, it's real nice.
Now, what makes me rate him so high is because of that element neutrality. So when I'm thinking like early game, him and Mikhail alone will be just your DPS combo that you could just take. You can just take through the whole story and not have to worry about attribute disadvantage.
And another thing, late game. So late game, Johan, his skills, he has a really solid passive. 1 got element neutrality. 2, only weak against darkness, so they don't have a weakness really. But he also has the passive that most light and dark don't, where he deals extra damage against the opposite element. So he's 50% to the opposite element. He's dealing 75%.
Exactly.
So I mean, he's boost his own elemental advance, a class that's only advanced. He has no negative damage,
and
that he takes more damage.
And the fact that he's a warrior, and gives him that higher base HP stat. So it's like even when you're not building him to be tanky, he can still be a solid tank. Like you can legit just build him as a tank and he would work just because he has the provoke and good base stats in that range. So it's like
it goes back to that kind
the warrior class is like almost in a league of its own. Like most of the warriors definitely.
Right, it's like the weakest. Am I here now?
Yeah.
Okay, like the weakest warriors are a solid A rank. That's kind of an issue, but it's it's fine. B tier, whatever.
The water Schneider. Okay, just like Arslan, he has a tier of his own. Unfortunately, we both was talking about this and agreed. He's just completely at the bottom now. All right, for one, he is one of the heroes that you spend gems to buy. Only costs 3,000. 3-star heroes only cost 3,000 to buy. But I wanted to wait until we covered more of the unit list to really talk about this hero in particular. But I think this is no time better than now just to even just say it and then talk about just why he just don't make the cut. And it's not.
So
Go ahead.
there you're good. So we'll just the very first thing, he's a striker. So for the striker role, the people that we were all just praising, Johan, Mikhail, Helga. I mean, Johan's a warrior, but he fits that role. That's what he's used for, as opposed to Arslan and everything. Um, so we're looking at that DPS role, and he's not them. So, and all of those people are free. So, we're looking at a hero that you have to pay gems for, compared to free heroes, and he doesn't add up to them.
Yeah.
Why? Because we talked about it earlier with Astrid. He removes a buff with 60%, unlike Astrid's 100%.
Exactly.
For one buff to the enemy, just deals damage. Okay. His 2 skill reduces the enemy's action gauge by 15%. That's a really good skill. But every other hero in the game that has it is 20%. And they're also AoE. So, yeah, that's not a benefit either. His ult is a single target, fills the user's action gauge by 50%. But when we're saying the game is run by Crom and Arslan, who are pulling attacks to make your team go faster and faster and faster, and your attack bar gauge is always full.
Yeah, and it's everybody.
Not...
It's everybody opposed to just that one unit itself. So it's like great, he can push himself 50%. That's nice. But I would take 25% for my whole team instead.
And since it's only 50%, he's not going to go again. It's just going to put him higher on the list, so he's going to go before your team next. And is that a benefit, really? I don't see it as. I really don't. It's nice, but if it was a 50% reduction, I might place him higher. But it's a 50% increase to him,
and that's
instead of a reduction to the enemy.
And that's for you buying a DPS. It's like, all right, you already need to get the water Vanessa, just because of how great she is, and then you are giving the water Helga. So it's like, why would you even spend 3,000 gems outside of just leveling yourself up to pick up this hero? And
he's 3-star, so you're gonna have to make him 5-star, which is a lot of resources. It really is.
And Helga just outclass him in so many different ways, just her alone. So it's like that's already a water unit, just like off the list of picking. So it's like, okay, you got Water Chrome, who would be possibly your first contract, and then Water Helga is like, what do you even need him for? On the water side of things. Plus the fact that so many other heroes just does his job better.
And we'll get into a unit later, the other pay-to-win. Yeah, she just completely takes his role if you want to make a full water team. Or Water Lumi, who's a contract hero. So,
yeah, third contract, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Yeah, third contract.
She's one of the long contracts, but still, that's a full water team you're looking at. If you wanted a full water team, yep, she takes his role. So sucks to suck.
All right, let's one that I had picked up water since we own a water Charlotte.
Oh my god.
I think this is our first B tier. Honestly, I think this is our first B tier. Like I like water
That's
Charlotte.
fair. She's good early game. She has that health regeneration, which I mentioned earlier. I do like health regeneration. She
Health
gets a
regen is
unit to
great.
sleep. Sleep and Petrify are both probably one of the weakest stuns in the game. But it's not bad. Only because if you hit the unit, they wake up.
Right.
So that's the only reason that Sleep and Petrify are the weaker ones, because if you have an AoE unit, you can't use it while they're asleep.
I
So possibly just waste it.
I used
You're
her.
not holding.
I used her a lot, and like on my main account, I don't have the Water Vanessa, who's leagues above and insanely better. But I still was able to complete the final boss before the nerf using both the green Charlotte and the blue Charlotte. So it's like I really like her. She was definitely useful. I mean, the heals were great. The also
She's attack based healer, like
yeah,
we mentioned.
yep. Attack base heal on the second, but the ultimate skill, she has the health regen, which is also proportionate to the attack, which makes it a little rough for early game. She's another hero that costs 3,000 gems. I don't think she's bad, but she's definitely not water pup tier.
Yeah, she actually can fill a role. If you use her, she'll be useful. And
Yeah.
not that Pup wouldn't be useful. It's just that his role is beaten by free characters, and that's depressing.
Yeah, by so many.
You don't even have to spend gems or gold or anything. They're just given to you for complete. And when he's a high price unit, that's depressing.
Now let's see here. Let's grab this one. All right, Fire Joshua. Now this one I'm not super familiar with. It's one of the newer ones that came out.
I know I like Water Joshua, so let's see. I think I talked about this guy earlier to you.
Yeah, and
Yes, I did.
oh, he costs
So
500,000 renown too.
yes, yes, he does. I actually have been debating buying him, but so he costs 500,000 renown. Renown is going to be in game, so you're going to get him in game. You're not going to get him early. He's not going to be a super, or I guess mid game could be 500,000, but you're going to clear easy.
Yeah, you're gonna clear through stuff, and he's more.
His two skills where he shine.
Uh,
He grants a selected ally invincibility for 1 turn and increases attack power by 2. So, as long as he's sped right, you can pick and choose who you give invincibility to. And that could be nice for really hard pushing where you can.
it's kind of weird because strikers are in a really tight spot. It's like he seems like he could be useful, but I'm not sure. I'm thinking B tier, and it's like he's definitely
That's
not an
fair.
early game unit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, he can't be. You just don't have that kind of renown.
Yeah,
unless you're paying.
unless you're paying for it, and there's probably other
I don't
things
think
better.
he's a pay to win.
Yeah,
Like, he's definitely a decent. I like his ultimate. I really do. If you max it, it's a 2 cost. It has 90% to reduce both attack and defense on a default attack defense reduction. That's going to be 50%. So 50% attack, 50% reduction. That's pretty solid on 1 skill.
Yeah, great for shutting down bosses. Great for setting up for a big attack on a boss. That'll be real good. But it's like even then,
It's
like
just his price is gonna hold him down.
yeah, his price and the fact that you probably have to buy so many other heroes just so you can have enough spirit to be able to go into his and then the turn
Right.
after just use a couple other ones together. Since the attack and defense break will be applied after the damage, so it's like do
On the
his
reverse side, Water Joshua could be very good, but we don't know how to get him. He's kind of glitched right now, so I
yeah,
can't review him. I can't say anything.
yeah
Water Joshua.
can't recruit Water Joshua. So I
Well, his
mean,
alt's glitched too, and it tells us 0%.
yeah, yeah, his art's glitch. So I guess right now, I guess he could just go into the water pup tier for now, because it's like he's not even a thing since that. I mean, like it can always be updated later, and I mean we are gonna update later. So for like now, he's not even a character that can even do anything. So. So what you think Fire Astrid? So it's another one that I haven't read in a while. What does she cost anyway? Oh, she's 1,000,000 renown, and you have to have the Water Vanessa unlocked. I remember seeing certain heroes have to be unlocked in order for you to get them. And granted, you're going to buy the Water Vanessa anyway. It's just as a fire hero. I like how the first and the burst skill is the same exact skill. So pretty much she attacks the selected enemy, damage increase according to her speed. Not quite sure about speed scaling because I haven't really built anything for speed scaling. But she possibly could be something decent. I mean, her burst is only a 3 cost, so that's not really bad. And like all her skills are pretty much the same. Everything is increased to based on her speed, like all her skills. So she's probably just pure damage, and then she ignores percent of elemental damage on. Said ignores 5% of elemental damage. Resist when attacking enemies. A resist that. So when she go on against water, she can still dish out more damage. And she's another one of those striker class. It's like the strikers are really weird.
Hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but yeah, that's Joshua, I guess. Solid B tier.
I'm I was yeah, I was saying the water one will probably be the water pup tier just because his skills
Yeah,
is
he
like
could be.
non-existent.
Like I said,
You know,
he doesn't exist.
once he exists in the game, definitely put him in. But I kind of moved on to the fire Astrid.
All right.
Yeah,
Fire Astrid. So
right now I'm saying B, but what's your thoughts on her?
I want to see her. I really want to use her. So the only thing I have to go off of for Fire Astrid is Crom. Crom does not scale enough to be a DPS. So all of her scales scale on speed, which to me is a really, really cool mechanic, and it could be A tier. But until I see proof that she is a good attacker, I'd say yeah, B probably pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm like putting her behind the fire Joshua at the moment.
So as I said, I'd give her a B tier, but I'd note that if you want to be kind of ballsy and try her, B tier is not a bad tier. It's not saying don't use it.
Yeah,
Go for it. show us that she can do damage and do great.
Eh,
Share. I mean,
And
decent reviews.
the fact that she costs like 1 million renown, that would take quite some time. Like, you're definitely not about to have her early game.
And she's not a cheap hero.
No, not at all. 1 million renown takes a real long
Million
time.
renown, and you have to have water renown.
Which more likely you will, so it's like,
Right,
yeah,
but just something to note that she does have that requirement.
that hefty requirement.
Not like one of the S tier units that I'm sure we're gonna get to later. At least in my mind.
we
5 million.
what's it? Said 5 million. Listen, isn't it? Is oh yeah, the 5. What's it?
Light Olivia.
Yeah, that's right.
Down.
Yeah, that's what I was. I keep forgetting. Yeah, it's the Light Olivia. All right, 5 million renown. All right, that's like automatic B tier for me, just off the fact that you probably
the fact that you have to spend $400 to get this unit.
You have
because you aren't gonna get 5 million renown. If you got to extreme on bare bones nothing by some crazy hacker logic, you would not have 5 million renown yet.
She's super paid to play there. I'm not even sure if she's paid to win.
Is she good? Yes. She's an amazing. She attacks the enemy, gives it a thorn bush. All incoming attackers take damage when you attack her. She's 60% chance to provoke every enemy. She has attacks them, deals damage during to the amount of health she has lost, which is new. That's different. Health increase and elemental damage on enemies of the opposing element, but she'd still only be S tier if you got her by some crazy luck of 5 million renown.
Yeah, I would definitely
Maybe
say
A.
I'd definitely say like she would be the best A tier. But because how much she costs, I give her the best B tier right now.
Oh, I agree. No, I'm not disagreeing at all. I was just saying, if you somehow got her, I don't think she's that good. And there are some I've seen in Arena, some of the major whales, they had her, and she's just no longer on the chart. They made her, and she was really good, but a lot of people aren't using her. The number 2 in Arena has her on his team right now, but he actually has Water Joshua on too. Anyways, so I mean,
yeah,
okay.
I noticed some of the heroes that was available aren't available. Like I can't get Silica. Like before, I was able to purchase her for 9K, but now she's unpurchasable for me. So it's like until we get more answers, this is where these guys are going to be placed. All right. Oh,
They'll say they're wandering. I wonder if that means like every week they alternate.
Don't know. Maybe something. All right, I got another good one here. Water Frail. What do you think she should say?
So, if we're starting the game, so let's look from a beginner's perspective, because I know I've been going off topic and going end game a lot. And Water Frail carried me until I got Crom. She could be a solid S tier until Crom comes into play.
Until day day 15, day 14, day 15. Yeah,
15 days is a solid game. That's a long time for most of us.
Yeah, you're gonna be fairly progressed, and a lot of and whatever you're using at that time, you're gonna have built up. I mean,
and even when you get Crom, she's still good. It's just the fact of you really don't run too.
Yeah, you won't need another tank at that. Like, and you can build her for damage. That's what a lot of people did early on, was built her for damage. Yeah, I was doing the same thing. And it was until I realized like what her class was.
I think it was you that was talking about the Guardian class.
Guardian class.
I didn't say anything, but I just kind of put it together and went,
yeah, the Guardian class is a tank.
Shouldn't have attack gear on my Fran.
And then when I start building her to just tank and pretty much be a saboteur, which is just a debuffer, since she has a lot of debuffs in her kit, and just focused in on that. I mean, AOE stun off her skill too. Her burst got that AOE attack break for 2 turns, and then she has a 2-turn death break, which is really good because you won't have anything else in the game when you start off to break defense other than her early on. So yeah, I definitely say she's probably solid S tier. Would you?
Definitely go for debuff gear. If you can get
Yeah.
gear with some debuff stats, that will make her
So would you rate her above Lucilica? Because I'm sure we both agree not above Chrome.
she'd be right below Crom, because she is the tank role until you get Crom.
Or just Arson.
Yeah, that he's if you got $50 to blow, guys, he just breaks it. I'm not even. This is not like a meme. Like no, he water pump is the meme. Arson is completely serious here, as we say, both laughing.
Because it's so true though. It's like he fits all positions here. All right, if we're going to talk about tanking as well, we definitely got to go to the fire side of things and talk about Zyra.
Now that's one I was real heavy into Fram. I really was, and so I never got Zyra, and I never used him.
And you know what?
But he's very solid.
I was using Zyra and Fram at the same time. I was using them both. Like they was like a staple part of my team throughout most of the early game.
Like, not gonna lie, I just never picked him up because I had a pretty solid team right from the start. And yeah, I mean that's for reasons that are pretty obvious. But that's not the point. I dropped him and never picked him up. And so when I saw him in Arena, I thought he was an attacker. I really did. Because he's just he's
everything
always the first to want to go. He does decent damage. At the time when I was weaker, he countered my Arslan, and because he's fire, and he did stuns.
Poor
he was
Zyra.
just really solid. I didn't realize that he was that team's tank.
Poor Zyra.
Yeah.
No, but the base stat Zyra's a girl, but the base stats is.
I don't know, whatever.
It's like
I thought she was, and then I looked,
one of the
and I'm like, that kind of looks like a man.
yeah,
I don't know.
pretty butch chick. But yeah, the base speed is pretty high. Like 104 is a pretty solid base speed because there's a lot of things that's not even at a 100 base speed. Like what is even Fram's 101 like beats Fram out. And Fram had like both of them being super high. Like they like I think I had Fram as my highest speed. Like I used to swap between the two. I used to use the same gear and just swap between the two once I started filling out my team with more heroes. Depending on the elemental needs I had. I think Zyra was like a big part of who I was using to take on the final boss. I kept swapping between her.
Well, he's got that attack
Fram.
damage reduced. Attack damage is really good reduction for that boss because before
AOE.
he got nerfed, he was just crazy strong. That attack stat was crazy.
AOE on the second skill and the burst, which doesn't cost much, has a two turn death break, and it's just having those death breaks. I ended up going with Fram more so just because Fram has death break on skill 1, so you can consistently do it. Even though I mean it might not land all the time, you could be resisted, but at least it's consistent. You don't have to worry about it being on burst. So that
was mine too. Why I pick him over Fram is just because I think death break comes in handy more than attack reduction. However, attack reduction is not bad. And do remember when we're talking about this, both of these are free heroes that you get extremely early on. I believe Zyra is chapter 2.
Yeah.
So
yep. After you defeat her.
Basically tutorial still.
And she like all right. Zyra was the defense tank because she had higher base defense,
Mm-hmm.
and Fram was the HP tank with a lot of high, with the high base HP. But they both were solid. Now I'm not exactly sure where I will put her. Is she A tier? Is she S tier? I'm not quite sure because I'm like I really think she was extremely useful, but I just think Fram was better. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
I'd
sure.
probably say A. Now, take it with a grain of salt, though, because like I said, I'm biased. I didn't use her. I really didn't.
And I
I
and I
stuck with
did.
Fram, and this game's got a solid EXP problem, and
Yeah,
picking
big
two
facts.
units is
It's difficult. It's like you can't even weld the EXP, so it's like at least not effectively. So it's like it's rough. I say she's A tier, but where at on the list, I'm not sure because Fram outshines her. So it's like I'm putting let's like if I'm building a team, I'm putting Fram, with like Johan, Mikhail, Charlotte,
mm-hmm.
Vanessa type of situation. So it's like if I'm taking something out, it would be taking out Fram to put Zyra in only for attribute advantage. That will be it. So I'm not even
Right.
I'm not even sure. It's like, is she above
Now,
Helga and Astrid or below Helga and Astrid? Because I mean, like she is a tank and they're not. So I'm
no, I know
thinking,
you're not as into it, but let's talk PvP. That
P-
I might switch the rankings up. I might throw Fram A and Zyra S at PvP. Because
okay,
Zyra, while, yeah, in story, she's just outranked by Fram, you get a 50% attack reduction and a stun on any character of your choice on the first turn because she's a speed unit. That could completely win a match. Right there. You're
uh,
just done.
big facts there, big facts there. So I guess I'll slap her in here in the middle since she is a tank and we haven't.
She's real weird, but
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I mean, since we haven't covered that many tanks and like mostly talked about the DPS and a few healers, I slap her in the middle here between Mikhail and Helga
negative.
and
Yeah.
A tier. So I don't think it's really a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's really just running down to this fact that all of these heroes are good.
yeah, that's what makes it so hard because every hero is real good and
The only one I've been able to say is bad is Pup.
yeah, that's it.
And only water. Fire and wood and Pup are solid. It's the poor water guy. Only him.
Speaking of the other pups, I won't talk about fire. What? Talk about fire. That's one of my
Love
main
fire.
one of my main dealers. I think he was the first or the second unit I bought. He's a 3-star, so he cost only 3,000 gems, and I have him 6-star myself.
He's
He
a lot of self heal.
Yeah, he does got some solid self heal. The one thing I don't like is right now he can't be ascended. So that is
Mm.
a problem where a lot of like we haven't even talked about that. Like certain things go up on the list just because of ascension. Like like even Fram could be even better just because she can be ascended. Like what's it? Can Chrome be ascended?
Uh, yes,
Yeah.
he can. I
Okay.
have him.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So it's
I
like
didn't look up, but yeah, I have him ascended. Of course
so
he
yeah
can.
he couldn't be ascended, but like his AOE on his second uh which he heals off of can completely put he can be at 2 health and go right back to full with that skill
Uh-huh.
and wipe out any wave, easily wipe out a wave. Great for dungeon bosses, PvP solid, early game, end game. He only falls short of his elemental disadvantage. Like anytime I'm going up against water, I pretty much
he'll get wrecked.
yeah, I'm pretty much in a bad shape there. He can heal himself back up, but you're not going to get the damage output that he can make, and it's
His
just
Thorn
rough.
buff is really nice too. It's really interesting to see the heroes with Thorn. Anytime you attack them, they take damage.
Yeah, and then he heals himself on first skill as well, which it can hit pretty hard too. Like I seen him just one shot things just off of that, especially when he had the elemental advantage. It just works real well. His burst, uh, the thorn. But see, the only problem I have, because the thorn is pretty solid. The only problem I have is most of the time I'm using other heroes burst skill just because those skills are better. Like I'm not about to use his skill over Arslan's, and even if I'm pairing, even if I'm pairing up skills, I might go into his for the extra damage, but sometimes I go for Ray in my team, or
But
maybe
I am a little bit unethical, unorthodox, whatever, when you come to his build though, and that might be why I like him a lot. So he's one of the only units I use the stun. I give him the stun set, so that is 2 skill. That's a decent DPS stun, or a decent DPS damage skill, heals him, and stuns the whole team.
yeah, I don't think he's S tier by no means.
No, I'd state him at A, but I
But
just think that it is
I,
interesting to use him with a stun set because he actually does decent.
I personally picked him over Helga because they both was in the team at the time, and I ended up just dropping her and keeping him just because I like his ability to, like, really it was because I couldn't build Helga. Honestly, I couldn't build her to be pure
She's
damage.
just so attacked that if she isn't full damage, then she just isn't as S tier as I keep telling people she is.
Yeah,
You have to go full build into.
and like both of them practically serve the same purpose. Like, yeah, I will be biased and put him before her, but I mean they pretty much do the
No, that's
same thing.
fine.
They pretty much do the
That's
same
totally.
thing.
Dark Helga's the same way. Uh, a lot of attack gear is needed. The only thing that Dark Helga would prove better on is she reduces all of the enemy's resistance. She gets extra turn on turn 1 and her ultimate.
Say the extra turn. Well, since we talking
Extra
about
turn
her,
on her ultimate. That's what makes her excel.
4 star. Well, said 4 star.
I don't
She
know what you
costs
call it.
three
I already
thousand.
have her.
Yeah, 3,000 renown, which isn't that bad. That's pretty cheap. But you have to get past. Oh yeah, you have to. Oh yeah, you pretty much
Clear
got to
hard
clear.
mode
Yeah, you
early
got to
game.
clear hard mode. Pretty much, you just got to clear hard mode. So she's definitely not early game. So that kind of knocks her down a peg. Just because she's not early game and nothing that you're gonna want to spend on.
And it's going to be hard to build
But
her because you already have your whole team built. So
yeah, definitely.
that's my issue. I have her sitting at 5-star with nothing on her and nothing built because, well, crap. I already got a team.
So
Already got 2 teams.
I mean, B tier.
Yeah, probably. And that sucks for me to say because I think she's better than Waterhell. She is amazing. She's got great skills. Her damage is insane. Attacks all enemies. If any of those enemies die, she gets another turn. And that cannot be gained in a row, but that doesn't stack with her 1 skill. So if she goes again, kills that enemy, gets a skill turn again, and you happen to have another 4 skills, you could technically.
Yeah, that'll make her
That's a little
beastly for
OP.
like PvP.
But it takes a lot of build-up, that's a lot of gear, and you already have to be pretty far in the game to even.
Yeah,
That just kills her.
Unfortunately, and it's a lot of heroes that kind of like fall in that category though. It's like they will be rated higher you know, if they can be obtained, can always make like another.
Even if you bumped her, like give her 500,000 renown cost, and then make her available right from the start, then she'd be A tier. Easy.
Yeah, definitely, because
But
the
the
attribute
fact that you're
advantage.
done with hard mode, right? The fact that you're just done with hard mode before you can get her, you're already done with almost every con in the game. You're starting extreme mode, and by the end of hard mode, you can probably clear most of the good dungeons. I wouldn't say all of them,
Yeah.
but you're probably pretty far, probably
So,
floor 9, floor 8.
here's another one. Speaking of units that just like kind of like fall into that category of they're good, but you will probably have stuff that can be better, useful by the time you get them. Ray, the last one on the first contract. She's
So depressing because
yeah.
I had such an overpowered team planned that I could use her, and she
And
just didn't what need.
she. I mean, did you build her?
Not yet.
No, yeah, okay, because like I still use her. I still use her in my main team. She's one of my main DPS. Like I have her. I have her in her first ascension. Like
Mm-hmm.
she does real good damage. I mean, two AOE skills. The resistance debuff actually is pretty good. I like games that have a resistance debuff. Just because that means like you can land your buffs a lot more accurately, and and that's good.
Oh no, she's really solid.
Then the reduction to the enemy's attack gauge is great. Usually, I'm pairing her and Arslan together when I want to combine their orts together,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that she completely replaces, like on skill 1, she replaces my defense break, so I can always get a defense break on a boss. Granted, she has attribute advantage or neutrality.
Right.
But she completely useless against water. So yeah, she definitely nowhere near S tier.
And
Um,
like I was saying on Pup, uh, poor guy. He only gets referred to in bad. But she does what I was saying he needed to do: attacks all enemies and reduces the action game. So, and that kind of gets into what I was saying earlier. I had a team plan, so I was gonna use her as a reduction and use multiple turn boost and use her to reduce the turn. So you basically get infinite. It might be possible now because we have a third turn.
yeah,
That's
since we
kind
got a
of
third turbo
broken,
boost,
but yeah,
and
that's where she would excel.
yeah, but
Is a speedy team.
you would definitely have to max skill her burst just so you can get it down to a 2 cost. Because like at a 2 cost, then that'd be insane.
2 cost and 100% chance.
Yeah, 100%. So you would just be doing it like
And you're doing
every turn.
25% reduction instead of.
Yeah, that will make her that would definitely take her up a peg. I
That's gonna be a real pay to win scenario.
I put
Unfortunately.
it's like I've been at odds of my units between her and my pup. I my first 6-star was my pup, so that's the only reason why
Mm-hmm.
he still get that much usage. I mean, single target skill, so he can do a little bit more damage on bosses, but her burst just does way more damage than what he can do. So it's like I kind of say she probably a little better than him. I mean, being that she is a 5-star naturally at that too, and like,
That's really nice too. Those contract heroes,
and she's a
while we do
warrior.
say they take a while to get those contract heroes, but they come out at 5 star, so you really don't need as much work on them as other heroes.
Yeah, and she's a warrior. I mean, she doesn't have the attack that my fire pup has on base, but her being a warrior, she got solid HP, and she got some. I guess and looking at it now and comparing. All right, the defense is not, but she got some solid HP though. She got some solid HP on her, so she's not too bad if I'm comparing.
Mm-hmm.
comparing stats, and she's only a 5-star. Like he's 6-star, and her stats is like closely compared to his. Uh, while she's 5-star and ascended, but ascension don't get you much anyway. But
No, it's if you got the money, go for Ascension. If not,
not
don't worry about
yeah,
it, man. Like it's good. It's good when you get the stuff and you can do it, but it's a really expensive process for very in-game stats.
so it's like once I
Like when
get
you're
her,
trying to right.
yeah, once I get her 6-star, then it's gonna be a whole different ball game on her stats. So I definitely say she's she's better than the pup, but
Oh, by far, yeah. No, she is good, but
yeah, but if she
it's just
is like when you get her, like I probably wouldn't choose her over Chrome or Lucilica. So definitely Mikhail and Johan would be better and would be better units to go for and damage wise. Like I don't think there's much better than them possibly for
if
A tier.
yeah, if you're gonna go all in and spend money, she's probably a worth it contract over Lucilica. But if you're gonna be either just a normal spender or just, a normal player for that matter, free to play, probably
Definitely not.
cut it.
Yeah, she don't make
But
the
if you can afford to max those skills and her gear, give her all 6-star, all maxed out, all freaking of her set because she has revenge set, and that's gonna be crazy with her skills. Yeah, yeah, she's definitely worth it then. She's a very gear dependent, very maxed out hero.
Alright. So let's move on to the Aleph section. We'll go to the water first. Who's also a pay to use hero.
It's like a
45
pay to
bucks.
use warrior.
Pay to
So
use
this is
warrior.
your instant win. Your instant win class right here. Just you had to pay and you bought the god class. Um, she I don't have her yet, guys, and that bugs me
Yeah.
because
This
she might very well be the most broken DPS in the game.
possibly this burst skill like
So we're looking at Arslan and we're calling him a support. Well, let's take all of his things and now go, he gave up being a support and he just went pure attack. So all of her skills have this effect that I'm about to mention. So let's talk about all of them. Her
except for
first
first.
skill, the very first skill actually doesn't have that effect. So
Yeah.
I just lied to everyone. Whatever. She attacks the selected hero and heals proportionate to the damage dealt. So she has her own sustain. That's pretty solid. Her second skill attacks every single enemy. If that enemy is full health, multiply your damage by 5. 5's not a big number. When you're talking DPS characters dealing AoE damage of up to 50,000 damage, 5 times that is a 250,000 AoE damage skill. That's not a burst skill. That is her second skill.
But wait, there's more.
But her burst skill does the same thing. So, more scaling on, if you max it out, a 3-cost skill is multiplied by 5. And does it scale down? Yes. Anything below half HP is going to be hitting double. That's still a solid skill.
So
So
pretty much with her,
that, yeah.
yeah, pretty much with her is like you're going for like a one shot comp. It's like if she doesn't kill after her hit, after her hits go through, whatever you attacking is probably nearly dead. In theory, though, in theory.
And that burst skill, like I had mentioned earlier, if you use Arslan, the enemy gets a debuff of being their defenses ignored during that ultimate. Now that affects the other user. So if that stays true with her skill, that means you're doing 2 people for 5 times the amount of damage on a full health boss. The skills I use right now, I hit about 400,000. If you hit 400,000 times 5 because you used her, there's no boss in the game with that much health. There's no much boss in that game with 2 times damage of that. The hardest advent, or whatever we would have called it, boss dungeons in the game have 1.2 million health. And we are looking at a 2.6 million damage skill.
All right, so
Um,
if because we're about halfway through, and we definitely want to get through this a little bit
yes, we do.
faster because
Sorry.
we're almost coming up at an hour and 30 in this video. But
Oh
just
God.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But all right, if we were to put her in S tier, she definitely would hands down be the best S tier character. But are we putting her in Arslan tier?
And she very well could be, and that would leave. So I believe her number one S. Main reason being I do not have her, and I cannot tell you guys if that ultimate affects everyone
Yeah,
like Arsenal's does. By theory, everything I've known it does, but if it does, that's
it's
broken,
broken.
and she definitely needs to be looked at. 5 is just a big number. I never thought I'd say that because I can count that on one hand. It's a big number. Five is a lot. Um, that's a lot of damage. That's And did I mention her passives boost her HP? So this is a semi-tank character. She is not a glass cannon
Yeah,
by any means.
but what you get when you get the warrior class, like another one of the words, like if we look at our top picks for like just the damage in the just like the damage itself, like mostly warrior, like our top Arslan pick warrior, our top S pick warrior, our top A pick warrior.
She's just she does have low defense. She has the lowest defense out of every warrior. She has 170 base defense
All right,
and 100 base speed. That's a solid speed stat.
I want to go over the second list of contracts, but
Okay.
I don't really think we need to go over each one of them, their skills and what they do, just because
No.
none of them are early game. You're gonna have to do 2 contracts, so that's 15 days, 30 days, and then a 30-day contract with one of them afterwards. I want to
So
put
you're looking at almost day 100.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like you're on a 90-day. Oh yeah, damn near a 90-day
Day
plan.
75 is when you get this.
Yeah, so
You
it's
get to
like
day 75.
you're gonna have a team and probably plus one or two, maybe even built on the side just for attribute advantage type stuff. Before you get
I'm gonna be
any of them.
biased. I am gonna be biased, and I don't think it matches your choice. I'm going to say best one out of them that I want to throw in the A tier is Waterloo.
The water Lumi.
I really like Water Lumi.
And
She's a solid warrior. Again,
a warrior, and
I know.
I want to pick Walther just because triple turn bar boost. If granted you
Oh,
bought
it's
Arslan,
nice.
triple turn bar boost. But if we looking at a free to play perspective, I probably go with the water Lumi as
That's
well.
solid.
Yeah. So I put her at
It's Water Lumi's just it's all reduction. So where we have all these speed boosters, she is the exact opposite. All of her stuff is lowering speed, lowering turn boost, lowering everything. So that's why I like.
all right, so I put her at the back of A tier there, and I throw the fire olive and the earth water at the back of B tier, just because you're not going to get them anytime soon. They are
Oh,
greater than these tiers, but I will probably clump them all into A tier to be honest.
well,
Like
that's what I was saying
you
earlier.
know what, yeah,
Fire Olive is solid too. I
you
like
know
Fire
what,
Olive.
we throw them all into A tier and just put them and just put them in an order
The
of
bottom, because
because you're not going to get them
Walther and Olive are probably sitting right there. They're completely different roles, but they're probably right about the same.
right. All right. So I guess that's all the contracts. So now we got like all the paid stuff. I think now, or no.
Yeah, now we get into the fun part.
Oh no, we got one for
What
we
about
got
Light My Ling?
the light man lane. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna say C tier actually. Now
but
she's
that's
a very solid unit. Light My Ling is amazing. She's a sniper hero, but she costs 700,000 renown, and you have to beat extreme.
yeah, gotta beat extreme 700. I haven't even completed extreme yet,
That's
so
final map extreme. That's not just
yeah,
extreme.
yeah, just the whole thing. Yeah, all
So
right,
if
definitely.
you've cleared the game, you get this unit. Is she solid? Yes, but she's not a top tier unit, and you have to beat the game to get her.
Yeah, so yeah, bottom of B tier. Bottom of B
It's
tier.
depressing too,
Yeah,
because she's
it
not
is.
bad. I really like her.
It is, but I mean, it's Mei-Ling. It's Mei-Ling. I mean, speaking of Mei-Ling, the fire one, which you also get early. Now, I personally seen the video where she was really useful against that salamander boss. Like she put in work, she did shit tons of damage. Like her damage
All
output.
allies heal, and she does a lot of sap. She reduces the boss's attack, so they don't hurt you much. She's got a
Yeah,
solid kit.
yeah, she had a really good kit, but it's like if you it's like in most cases you're gonna go Earth Charlotte and Water
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa. So it's like she really doesn't serve that much of a purpose. Like you're not gonna need her heals per se, and you still got other damage dealers with neutrality. Even though she can have a advantage, it's just so much other stuff. Like if you just go through the list of everything that we talked about previously, so many other things
Mm-hmm.
is going to outshine her in that aspect. Even though she's a free 3 star that you get early on, she just don't make it. So I say she's B tier and
That's fair.
yeah, I probably rate her probably right around the water Charlotte. Probably just maybe just above the water Charlotte since she's free.
Real quick, snag one hero we skipped, and I only say we skipped because we've done all our other elements. Like Vanessa, I'd say B tier. She's probably the worst pay to win hero because she's a $50 unit.
What's it? That's the wrong one. This one. We said light Vanessa. Oh yeah.
She's the revive or the invincibility unit with health regen, which is very good, but she costs $50.
Yep. And invincibility is just in a really tight spot. Because I was looking at it and I thought it was 2 turns. If it was 2 turns, she is probably the most OP support in the game. But since it's not, it's
But
like
it's only one.
It's one. So it's like, so yeah, definitely bottom
And
of.
a 4-turn cooldown.
I mean,
So
well, you have a better chance of probably getting her with money than you do the light Maylene for just playing the
that's
game
true.
through. So I'll put her just above her.
I mean, it just for as spending money on a unit, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, another one of the
You're talking about spending money on a unit that you could buy Arslan. But yes, anyways, next.
right. Like I wouldn't buy wouldn't buy her over him. So all right, now we got the Earth Pup. One of the ones they give you early, and I actually recommended him for the Water Rosanna boss
Mm-hmm.
just for the advantage.
So if you need a wind hero and you're starting up the game, you get him, obviously. He's in your starter team. He's chapter 1. He's there with you from the start. He deals a lot of sap damage. Sap damage is really good versus bosses. Heals himself and he's wind. So yeah, it's real solid against water.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's A tier.
I'd say that's fair.
Honestly, I think he'll be
Uh,
probably
which is surprising.
before Astrid, just because you get him before Astrid. So it's like if
I
you
mean, yeah,
big,
because he's the first hero you get. So yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I think Johan's from the start,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
you have Johan.
yeah. But you get him somewhere in between because I think he's right after you clear the
Takeover
first,
or
yeah, the
whatever
first
with
chapter.
John.
Yeah, you get him at the first after the first chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I say he's
Basically, those three are your first team: Fromm, Schneider, and Johan, and Mah-Lon after that.
yeah, so I say he's before Astrid, but probably after Helga.
That's fine.
Cause like I took him out and Helga I was using personally. And you use Helga more than I do. Like you still use her, so it's like I wouldn't rate him I wouldn't rate him above it, but definitely great for that early game. Like he would clear that boss for you no problem. And it's like Astrid you don't get until way later on, and what's that like chapter
Mm-hmm.
5 or 6 or something like that. Like real late game. So it's like speaking of another Earth, my girl Olga or the Earth Olivia rather, um,
It's kind of who
in
I
the
was thinking.
translation. It's funny because you get her after 7 days of playing.
My
She,
issue with her, she's good. She's very good. All of you guys have proven to me that she's good. But by day 7, I was so far along that I didn't want.
yeah. It was like that's the only thing I don't like about the contracts as well. It's like when you make me wait to get a hero, I could already have something built. Cause it's like if I was able to just get her in the game, I would definitely use her over having the Earth Pup.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh,
for sure.
definitely.
She's just so much better at just keeping the boss from moving.
She's got extra turn. She's got. She's great.
Probably
Reduces.
the probably one of the best snipers because I think Mikhail is a sniper.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's a sniper, so he would probably be the best sniper, and she probably number two. Like I
The other
you
sniper by the same name that I was say that's the one I was looking at. Actually, that's why I was thought it was funny that you picked her. The water version.
uh, so I'll throw her in A tier. I'm not sure where in the A tier.
The wind or water?
The win one.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say A.
Yeah, I think she's better than Ray though. I kind of think she's better
Okay.
than Ray because like
All right.
I use them both in my team, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like I'm kind of going in my team, and
I believe that.
I've been
I
one,
get you.
yeah, and she just does more for the team, and then still do damage. Like her utility in her kit, and then still do damage. So it's like, reduction to the attack gauge, and I can just do that every turn, or put the AoE slow up if I want to. But other than that, we got a lot of stuff in A tier.
Water Helga, I'm gonna throw at B. Just doesn't have a lot of stuff going on.
Is it a Water Helga?
Or not Water Helga, sorry, Water.
Yeah.
I was thinking
It was
Olga.
Olga. Yeah, the Olga, Water
Olivia.
Olga. Yeah, the Water. There she go. You said B. What? Like, what is? Like,
B. I mean, she's not bad. She's got AoE defense reduction, heals proportional damage dealt.
yeah, she costs
Increases
6K
user's
though.
attack on burst, but yeah, high
She
cost unit. It's a sniper class that's trying to be your debuffer and gonna work. And
yeah, and it's like, what's that? The Fire Helga would be better if I'm going for an AoE defense break.
right,
Yeah, so yeah, I can see her B tier just right after the
and
Fire
cheaper.
Helga. Yeah,
Fire
and
Helga's
cheaper, definitely. So yeah, definitely right after the Fire Helga, I'll put her.
Something to note since we're looking at this tier and people are hearing and listening. Gem units are definitely cheaper than renown units if you're looking. I know most people, you look at the premium currency and go, premium currency is very valuable. 3,000, 6,000 gems is less valuable than 500,000
Renown,
you
yeah,
need renown a lot.
yeah. And you still talking about what is it, ascending stuff? The renown you need for that, like just to
Million
even put.
renown for a orange unit. Well, really, 1,000,005.
Yeah, just to max them. So
That's one unit.
all right, I don't think we touched any of the yeah, any of them. All right, which color? Which color?
Dark, and I'm gonna place him because of how much he costs at A rank. He's gonna be the only A rank, I think.
Only A rank, yeah, because he does cost a
But
million renown.
He's a million renown, but his skills are really solid.
Yeah, another ignore defense unit, which is really strong. He's definitely not going to be anything that you'll get early game, so I can't rate him high on the list, but higher than a lot of other
I'd say
things.
Low A rank or a high B rank. Either one, I would be solid with.
Yeah, I think he deserves, because like from the start of the game, we've all been looking at him like, that's the unit that I want to get.
He's just kind of that guy that everyone wanted. He's just a freaking bird.
Right. Yeah, because like I put him above the Waterloomy, but below Astrid. Yeah, just because of his cost.
Other twos are B.
Other twos.
Green one's solid. He's a stun unit. Every skill of his is a single target stun.
Yeah.
And the fire one is Thorn buff. He's kind of tanky. That's it.
B.
The fire one does have an interesting 2 skill, but we won't get into it. He's still B rank.
Still B. So
it doesn't redeem him.
And they both like what? 3,000. Like not nothing that you would just like insanely purchase. Like nothing to.
Yeah, 3K.
Yeah, so I throw them next to each other.
Both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, throw them next to each other, and right below the Fire Helga. They just think she's probably. I mean, Fire Helga might be the best B rank though. I might think I'm starting to think she might be even better than.
That's fair.
Yeah, better than the light Olivia. Because it's like you can get her. Light Olivia,
right, she's obtainable. I have a lot of very powerful units and a lot of spent renown, and I cannot afford Light Olivia. Even if I got rid of all of my units.
That's the sad part.
I have a top tier arena team, and I could not afford Light Olivia.
All right, so let's get to one of your favorite units. Also, pay to
Oh, yeah, no, I do know who we're talking about.
yeah.
She's up at the top of my list. I've been ignoring her. I'm looking at the bottom like, who are we looking for? Now, which one we going for? Fire or wind? Because we got 2 left. For pay to win you.
Oh no, it's
Because we got
fire.
Rosanna.
Yeah,
Okay.
fire.
Because we have Fire Rosanna, but we also have that wind Lumi.
Yep, that is true.
And I really like her, but she's not good. She's only so-so.
So fire Rosanna. You definitely got the experience with her there.
So, if you're getting her, you're gonna get Arslan. Don't get her before Arslan, but get both of them. And I'd say I almost want to call her A rank. Which is surprising. I know. I've been saying all night I think I want to call her S, but I almost want to call her A rank. She has a shield that is based on her attack and can block basically on extreme damage from the boss, from any boss. So that's really nice. It's really, really solid. She's a full DPS that gains a defensive skill based on her attack. And so it just works really well.
Where you think she fits at in the A rank? Because we got a lot of heroes in there.
You have to pay for her. And that's going to come into factor is that, like I just said, you're looking at $100 because I would not get her before ours.
Right.
So $100 in, she's got to be in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
As much as I like her, she's just that's going to be her downfall.
All right, so I'll put her between the Fire Pup and Hilda. That's
probably where I put her. Unfortunately.
Well, maybe since you pay for her, actually just like right below Astrid.
They could.
Yeah.
But now the benefit to that is you can get her right away if you're spending money.
Yeah, if you're spending money, yeah, like if you're spending money and you're a heavy spender, like she probably would be S tier then.
She'll carry you through the game, but I'm trying to not say be a whale.
And a lot of people don't have that luxury either, so it's like
Calling 3 of my heroes on my team right now cost more than their freaking allowance.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
All right, I'm saying B tier here for the Water Astrid.
Water Astrid, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. 6,000.
I really like her.
6,000. I mean, water
DP, not a lot of return.
Yeah, not at all. Really expensive.
This is the same issue as Water Pup. She's just going up against way too many heroes that are way better.
That's just way better.
She's better than Water Pup. Her scaling's good. So that's where Water Pup failed, was his scaling was bad and he's going up against those people. Her scaling is solid.
So will you get her over the Durandals or Durandals?
Probably not, no.
Okay, all right. So I just put her right behind them. Fire Vanessa. Oh my girl. I think the last one that was a part of my team.
Looked at her yet?
No, we haven't. We haven't. I've been avoiding her because I wanted to hit some of your units. I'm like, I've been avoiding her, but I literally pushed for her. She costs I think 5,000, 500,000 renown. Yeah, and you have to unlock the water Charlotte. Yep, you got to unlock the water Charlotte.
3,000 gems, 500,000
renown. Definitely not worth it in my opinion. I mean, she's great. I still use her as my main healer. But if I had the water Charlotte, I would use her. I mean, not water Charlotte, but if I had the water Vanessa, I would use her instead.
So what this hero needs, I know we aren't trying to go into in depth, but
2-turn invincibility.
Vanessa to be her best she can be, she has to go before the boss, so she has to be fast. But she has to be the slowest member on your team.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, she does not succeed.
And you can't have anything in your team that has any form of turn bar manipulation, or it will mess up your turn orders.
Yes. And
Like,
that is an extremely in-game task. I don't even have the type of gear
yeah,
to mess with that kind of speed too. I just don't. I don't have
I,
that
w-
kind of gear.
I would love to put her in A tier because I use her, but I'm saying B tier for her.
That's fine. And it's just
Yeah,
because she's so in-game. So
yeah,
in-game. Now, if you build her, she can 3-star any stage ever and be completely done. You don't care. No damage taken. Completely
yeah.
face rolls everything.
I put her
But
right.
she's such a niche character.
I put her right behind the Fire Helga. I'm really thinking the Fire Helga is probably the best, the best of the worst. Like legit, the best of the worst, just because how
Queen
easily
of worst.
attainable she is and what she provides. Like, 'cause it's
Wind
like,
Mei-Ling, throw her somewhere in B tier. She's not amazing. Nothing
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Sap damage, but she's, I don't know. Cost
uh,
3,000 gems.
3,000. Okay, before the Astrid, then last two here. All right, Dark Helga.
I kind of touched her earlier. Good skills. Very solid. Don't get her until the end, so probably B. Because you have to beat hard mode.
Yeah, gotta be hard mode. So
And then she also costs 750,000 renown.
yeah, which is considerably expensive. Probably right after the Astrid. Think we having more in B tier than A though.
And then I guess the last one is my Lumi.
Yeah, which is also the final pay to win.
Mid B tier.
So
Okay.
maybe yeah, pay to win. So
she's Crom's role. That's what she's gonna run. She's gonna be your tank unit. She reduces speed, same as the Water Lumi does. Reduces attack power. Reduces enemies' defense. I mean, she's a solid debuffer. She's just like all the Guardian roles are saying, go debuff raid, and she does good. The issue is, while she does do good, she can get outclassed by a Fram, and Fram's free.
yeah, for Fram, just the
She'll
proportion
do
of the
more
kit is
damage
better.
than Fram, and she'll do just the slow's really nice, but
Like
when Fram's free, that's not even a discussion.
I would rather have the death break on skill 1. The fact that it's on her burst and it's a 4-cross burst at its base.
Right.
That's
what I'm saying. I like her. I like Lumi. Lumi is my favorite hero in the game, just cosmetically.
Right.
But Water Lumi's better than Wind Lumi in that cosmetics field. And then if you want Lumi, get Water Lumi.
Pretty
Water
much.
Lumi completely outranks her.
Wow.
The only saving grace in Wind Lumi, Water Lumi does 3 skills. So, like legit, her only saving grace, her counterpart does it 3 times.
Oh, I mean, yeah, here we go. Actual tier list for the game.
Woo!
Yeah,
It only took 2 hours.
Yeah, that's it. Just 2 hours.
We've only been here since.
All right, we have reached the end of the video. This was quite a long one. I mean, we shared some laughs, talked about a few things, just addressing what was going on in the game. So I hope you have enjoyed. And if you did, smash that like button. If you didn't, there is a button for you guys as well. Link to our Discord where we talk about the games we play, including this game, will be in the description box below, as well as the pin comment below. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn those post notifications on so you can be the first to view my content when it goes live. People, check me out on Twitch because that's where I just be like streaming games and stuff. You can shoot the shit with me, or talk about anything for that matter when we're doing the Twitch thing. I just appreciate if anybody just come by and say hi. you don't have to stay forever because that's not what I expect from people. Just, see how I'm doing. All of that good stuff. But until then, I appreciate my dude Lucid Forge for helping me with this tier list and everything. And this is your host, Gamerdude 2088 sign. Man, out saying I love you all. Don't believe everything that you hear in the mainstream media because they be on that tip. I swear they be lying out here, man. And I'm out. Deuces.